Okay, so let's get started. So how to shift our own behaviors so that we can really have a thriving, healthy relationship. So the first thing I want to mention here is that if you have done some really deep thinking about your prior relationships, about relationships in general, about love, you may have come to the uncomfortable realization that you may have some unhealthy relationship behaviors yourself. Yeah. So again, this happens to the best of us. So my main point here is that if this is happening with you, if you're realizing that some of your behaviors are not where you want them to be, do not beat yourself up for this. This happens to the best of us. This happened to me too. I had to take a look at myself and realize that some of the things that I was doing were not where I wanted them to be. So let me know in the comments if you guys have experienced this yourself. If you've had this uncomfortable realization that, okay, there are some things that I need to shift about myself and my relationships. Give me a heart or a like, or again, leave a comment. Because we talk a lot here about toxic relationships. We talk about abusive relationships, and we can go through lots of things like red flags, learning what makes someone emotionally unavailable, and we can start to read that stuff and see that stuff and go, ooh, okay, yeah, I can see myself doing this, and this. So again, do not beat yourself up for that. When we go through difficult and traumatic situations, we can develop unhealthy coping mechanisms. And again, this happens to the best of us. It is okay. So do not beat yourself up. This is normal. What we can do, and what the healthy and responsible thing to do, is to then do the work that it takes to shift them. To not just stay in that dysfunctional stuff, but to change it. So if you've already come to that point of awareness, you are taking the first step to changing it. Because as you know, there are lots and lots of people who have unhealthy relationship behaviors who have no awareness of the fact that their behavior is unhealthy. None. They don't want to be aware of it, or maybe they're aware of it, but they don't want to address it. So again, if you are in this place of awareness, this is amazing. Awareness is the first step to shifting it. So congratulations. It's sometimes one of the hardest things you can do. So Maya here is saying, my biggest problem is my son as he behaves like my ex, and I freeze and behave like I did with my ex to cope. I can't set boundaries. I'm going crazy lately. So yeah, Maya, you're always free to message me. You can reach out to me if you need some support with this. But yeah, this is an example. So if we've been in a difficult relationship in the past, and then something comes along that, you're not in that relationship now, but it's something similar enough where it triggers that stuff from the past, yeah, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go through here some of the exact things that you can do to really, really shift this stuff. But yeah, Maya, that's a great example of that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Okay. So again, if you have the awareness that you do have some behaviors that might need to shift, kudos to you. This is amazing, because it can sometimes be, as I said, uncomfortable to come to this realization. But I'm going to talk more about that in as we go along here. So number 2, the next most important thing that you can do here is to learn how to respond instead of react. So what does this mean? What this means is usually why we are reacting or behaving in an unhealthy way in a relationship is because we've been triggered, right? Something someone said upset us, or something someone did triggered our wounds, triggered our pain. And so we may have a pattern of lashing out or withdrawing or giving someone the silent treatment or name calling, whatever it is. We may have some specific pattern that we do that we react, okay? We get triggered and then we react. So how to shift this is when we're triggered, when something's happening, when we're in a conflict, we learn to pause. We just pause. we stop, take a breath, and just try to calm ourselves down. Now, this may take a different amount of time for everyone. For some people, it might take them 2 deep breaths, and they're good. They're good to then respond instead of reacting from that emotional place. For other people, it might take them a couple hours. Both of those scenarios are okay. I have been both those people at different points in my healing journey. Now, I can usually just take a breath or two and I'm okay, I can respond. But in the beginning, I needed a lot of time. So in those situations, when you're talking to someone, you can say, hey, when you're realizing, okay, like I'm really triggered here and I don't want to say something or do something that's really going to hurt this other person and damage the relationship, you can say, hey, to this other person, hey, I'm super triggered right now. Can I just take a few minutes or a couple hours, or can I just take tonight and calm down and just think about this, and can we talk about it tomorrow or in a couple hours? So you give yourself that space to allow the feelings to come up, whatever they are. You calm down, you figure out what you want to say, and you can even, this could be something where you write it down, write it in a journal, write it on a piece of paper so that you can remember what you want to say in a kind way, and then you come back to it when you feel ready, when things have calmed down. Okay? So let me know if you guys have experienced this, if you know what I'm talking about. Like you've been in a situation with someone, having a conversation, and you get triggered, and then you just react. You just go to that place, that pattern that maybe you've had in the past that isn't the healthiest. I know, I'm trying to think of an example of what I used to do so I could share with you guys. So I did a couple things. What my old patterns were to shut down. I would withdraw and not want to talk. So you could say that was like the silent treatment. I didn't know that wasn't okay back in the day. I also would, and I apologize, I'm having so many technical issues with this live today. They're cutting my grass again. I may actually have to change the time of this live because it seems like they're cutting the grass every week on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. But anyway, I apologize if you guys can't hear me. I'm gonna wait a second for it to pass. But yeah, so I used to do the silent treatment thing, but then I also sometimes in a conflict, I had this anxious attachment, so I really wanted to resolve the conflict right away, and my partner would be needing some time to calm down, and I was like, no, we need to talk about this now. I wasn't able to respect their boundaries in the past. So that was something that I did, that I had to work on. I had to, it was very uncomfortable for me initially to let the conflict breathe. I wanted immediate resolution because I didn't want to feel my uncomfortable emotions, right? So I had to learn to respond, to calm down and give it some space sometimes so that myself and the other person could, work through their emotions and then come and speak from a place of calm. So that's one of the most important things to do. So Maya says it's okay. Oh, you're not hearing it. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So the next most important thing here to help us shift our own unhealthy behaviors is, you're probably not going to be surprised about what I'm going to say, but it's doing subconscious work, or really doing any type of healing work in general. Because one of the reasons we are tending to react and act in unhealthy behavior patterns is because we do have so many wounds from the past. So really, whatever you can do to help heal those wounds, to help calm those triggers down, is really going to help you shift these unhealthy behavior patterns. So Cassie, I see you sharing here. Thank you so much. I would often lash out when triggered. Yeah. I would tell my ex we needed to take a break so we could both calm down, but he couldn't stand leaving things in limbo, so my requests for breaks weren't respected. Yeah. So you can see how quickly things can devolve in a conflict. Even we're not meaning to be hurtful. We're coming from the best intentions, but when we're triggered, it's kind of all bets are off, right? It can be very difficult in that really triggered moment to hold the awareness of the other person in our minds, right? Because we're in so much pain. So that's why it's so important to learn to just pause, And like in Cassie's situation, if your partner can't respect that, then, maybe they're not the right relationship partner for you. It's a kind of thing where you have to bring it to their attention. You have to say, hey, you aren't giving me space here. I need this space. And if they repeatedly can't do that, then it would be time to possibly rethink the relationship. But yeah, Maya says, yep, the silent treatment. My son calls it's the worst he can get from me. Yeah. So Maya, we're both guilty of the silent treatment. Yeah. So again, what I want to talk about here is the subconscious work, or really, again, any work that is going to help you to heal and release those wounds from the past will help you to shift those unhealthy relationship behaviors. And I can share from my own experience, like things that used to trigger me so much in the past, they don't anymore. And so there's no need for me to be reacting or to be acting in an unhealthy way. It's just fine now, So this is super important. And if you are interested in some of the subconscious work that I do, you are always free to message me. Click on the link in the video description, or you can comment here and I'll reach out to you. But this is what I specialize in. I absolutely love subconscious work. I have so much passion for it because it can be so transformational and life-changing. Okay, the next thing here, number 4, is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I talk about this a lot. Really, here's the thing. If you want to stay safe and comfortable, growth and change and healing are not for you. Anytime you go out of your comfort zone, anytime you shift a long-standing pattern, it's going to bring up fear, and it's probably going to bring up pain too. Because here's the thing. When we are reacting in these unhealthy ways, when we're lashing out, when we're giving the silent treatment, when we're withdrawing, we're reacting from a place of pain, and we're trying to not feel more pain, right? So when we pause, when we step back, when we shift these patterns, what happens? All our pain starts bubbling up that we've been trying to avoid by acting in these specific ways. Okay, so I want to just check my comments here. Yeah, Maya says, if I'm triggered, I go to listen to your meditation to recollect. Makes me feel so calm. Beautiful, beautiful. That's exactly what it's for. I'm so glad that it's been helping. Oh, Cassie says, doing subconscious work with Lindsay has been a game changer for me. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, so anyway, so when we stop giving the silent treatment, when we stop lashing out, what's left is our pain. What's left is our fear. What's left is our anxiety. All those things that those behaviors we're trying to suppress. We're trying to make our feelings go away. So it's going to be uncomfortable when you start to shift these things. And just know that this is the name of the game here. This is how it goes. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. And it's not like it's going to feel uncomfortable forever. It's going to feel uncomfortable temporarily until the new behavior becomes your comfort zone. But, love, relationships, intimacy, vulnerability, these are all things that are going to bring up emotions. We're going to feel vulnerable at times when we do these things because, again, our unhealthy behaviors, our lashing out, our silent treatment, those were meant to try to protect us. So when we let our guard down, it's going to feel vulnerable. At first, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but that's how you really create intimacy with someone. And full disclaimer here, this should only be done in the context of a healthy relationship, meaning your partner is someone who is safe to be with. Don't do this stuff in an abusive or a toxic relationship. I do not recommend it. I'm losing my voice because I've been talking for like an hour now. I did my previous live. And it didn't show up. Okay. But yeah, so it's gonna be uncomfortable at first. And just know that, and it's okay. Again, that's the name of the game. any type of healing and any type of shifting of a long-standing pattern is uncomfortable. And that's why, like, when we talk about people who are abusive or, who we would consider toxic, that's why they don't change, because it is so deeply uncomfortable. And they would rather hurt lots of other people than to do the hard work of growth and change. So I know that you guys are not like this. If you're here in this group, you are dedicated to healing and to having healthy relationships. So this doesn't apply to you. But you can see through your own work that you do why some people don't do it, because it is so uncomfortable. It's going to bring up lots of pain and uncomfortable feelings temporarily. So again, just know that it's normal, it's part of the process, and if that's happening to you, it's okay. What was also really helpful for me was to have support in this. This is what I do for my clients. It really does help to have support, to know, like, I did this new behavior and now I'm feeling like really nervous. Like, did I do something wrong? Is this how it's like, is this not how it's supposed to be? It's really helpful to have somebody to reach out to just know that, yeah, this is okay. And then you're going to get through this temporary discomfort to the new you, who is a much more healthier behaving person in a relationship. So do you guys have any questions so far? If you do, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, I will just keep on going here. Okay. So really the last thing here, the last thing that I can share with you to help you to shift your own unhealthy relationship behaviors is to learn as much as you can about what a healthy relationship does look like. And if this is something that you guys want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. I'll talk more about things like how to communicate nonviolently. Nonviolent communication is a great way to learn how to express yourself in a conflict. It's not my work, but I can talk more about it. And I can also, if you guys want, I can leave you the link to a resource to help you with that. But spend as much time as you can learning what a healthy relationship looks like. Read books, watch videos, spend time around people who are in healthy relationships, get a mentor. All of these things will help you to have good models for what a healthy relationship looks like. That was the biggest thing for me because, I had been in so many toxic and unhealthy relationships that I truly did not know what it looked like. Like when I had a conflict, I really didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what to do. And that was where having a mentor came in so handy. Because books and videos are great, but it's so helpful to have someone that you can just bring a situation to that you're experiencing and say, like, hey, this is what I'm going through. What do I do? How do I express myself here? Because the ideal here, the ideal scenario is we want to be able to express ourselves, how we're feeling, what our limits are, without attacking the other person. That's the ideal. We want to do it in a kind and respectful way. So again, having a mentor can be tremendously helpful, and also just learning what healthy relationship behaviors are. If you guys don't have my checklist, please comment checklist and I'll send that over to you. It's a checklist of healthy relationship behaviors that you can look for in a partner, but also that you can start practicing yourself. Because healthy people who are healthy in relationship, they want to be with another healthy person too. So if we want a healthy relationship, we not only have to know what to look for, we also have to be that person ourselves. We have to practice those behaviors. So what I actually do for my clients is I give them very specific scripts. Like if they're having an issue with someone they're dating or someone they're in a relationship with, I can give you a very, very healthy way to express yourself, to resolve this thing. Because very often we just don't know. We haven't had those models. And that's how it was for me. I just didn't know in the beginning when I was learning all this stuff. But with the help of my mentor and all of the work I did, I know it now. So now I can help all of you and my clients specifically with very specific scripts for what to say and what to do in certain situations. So all of that being said, I want to remind you guys that we're not looking for a perfect person here, because that doesn't exist. no one else is perfect, and we are not perfect ourselves. So we don't need to find perfection here. What we need to do is just continue on a daily basis to be aware of ourselves, to be aware of our behavior, and to be dedicated to changing it and improving it when need be, for ourselves and for the people that we're looking to be in a relationship with. So again, we do not need to be perfect. We do not need to be completely healed to be in a loving, healthy relationship. And we don't need the other person to be either. We just need them to be able to show up in a way where they can hold themselves accountable and make the changes that are necessary to have a healthy relationship.